Hello internets, I the Roshi, and I'm back with another reaction, this time reacting to a character anecdote, Wish in a Bottle. Alright, so this is a minute 30 seconds. Let's see what's up.
I'm sorry, child. If you want this poor thing to survive, only she can help you.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Now we're going to talk about it. What I like about this is, and I think they did the same thing with Mualani. Mualani had something similar to this, just like a minute-long animation of her essentially just helping out her community, being a lifeguard, right? So with this, we see a little bit of Citlali and how she helps people, what she does. And we have the story of this little girl who has her pet in a jar, I suppose, and Citlali helps restore it to health. Girl sends a thank you gift, and the cycle kind of continues. How we see Citlali just doing her own thing, making a mess with her booze, and that would essentially lead to, you know, this horrific looking scene that we have here. Like, something like this is... something happened similarly that led to this reveal of Citlali here, right? It's not blood. It's just her making a mess of her stuff. Look, she's like passed out next to her bed with stuff knocked over. And it's the same situation that they have here. I just love how it comes full circle like that. She just works, she does her thing, she lounges around, she gets tired, she gets drunk, whatever that is, and she ends up making a mess, and probably either wakes up like that or gets found that way whenever she's needed next, and it's hilarious. I like that. And I like the animation here, in this one, and I'm going to explain why. They do a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? They do a lot of like exaggeration with some things to express that the general feeling of what's going on. Like this is like the little spirit leaving your body when you're afraid or just completely spooked out of your mind, whatever that is. This is good. They did a lot with just the visuals and sound effects, but not necessarily dialogue. Yes, there's dialogue in the very beginning because that sets it up. And you have this very ominous but very pretty scene here when they're talking about Citlali in this way, and there's this like very mystical vibe with the silhouette of the hand and the flashes of light, but the bubbling tonic within just the background itself, enveloping everything. It's really cool, very witchcraft feel. And look at that, how it's like dripping on the silhouette of the hand. Like that's cool. So they do a really good job setting up Citlali here as some mystical like witch of some kind. who can perform miracles if she's going to bring something back from the brink of death, who you would imagine maybe not witch, but maybe shaman is a better word. Something like that. Some title that would make sense within Natlan world lore culture stuff. And as we know, Citlali's been around for a long time, and I'm sure some are familiar with her, but for those who aren't familiar with her, they're probably going to have this reaction when they just kind of hear her stories, right? So that makes sense. I like that. I like that aspect to it. We kind of see this area where she is. I assume this is her home, or a place that she stays and works. It almost looks like a domain entrance, or a similar door, but smaller, I suppose, that you would find in like Dragonspine or something like that. Not saying this is Dragonspine, but just like the big circle door, it reminds me of that. It looks like an ancient doorway of sorts. So they have a good job setting up this fear that this child would have, this uneasiness as she's going in. You know, she's trying to steel herself. Love the little crinkle of the mouth, just like kind of showing that she's shaking in her boots. She's shivering, she's afraid, but she's still trying to push forward, and she does. And she enters. And then, yeah, I already talked about this. I love the reveal, how it looks super dramatic. This looks bad. This looks like someone murdered somebody and dragged them across the room. But it's really probably just her booze on the floor. And then this, oh my goodness. So the lighting inside of the room is already working in that very ominous way. It's very dark, it's very mysterious, but you have that light coming in where it can, just enough highlights to light up her form, but also make it very eerie. Like, you have the light and you just kind of see like the tips of her fingers with the nails are contrast that because they're dark. And just, have you ever danced with the devil under the pale moonlight? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, just like that whole the pale moonlight kind of visual with this. It makes it look creepy. You see her plushies. And then, yeah, things just start picking up. She just kind of comes to and lights up, and it's a lot more hopeful right now. And there's magic everywhere. Stuff's flying up around her, and it's the reveal. She's fine. She helps the kid. I love these smear lines here. This is something that I see that they did this here because it expresses that very quick movement in something when you have a frame like this. I've talked about it before in other videos, but for those who don't know, when you make these smudges, these smears, and like this is part of her cheek, right? And this is only like a picture. This is only like a frame. So when this goes by, it's really quick and you don't really see it like this. But on its own, this is still really good because you get to see like, oh, this is how they're expressing this emotion, not emotion. Well, this emotion, but this motion in general, this physical motion that the character is doing. And I like that because it kind of smooths things out in a way, rather than some static imagery. Stuff like this is used for more comical purposes, for like Looney Tunes, for something like this. It's not, I mean, you can use it in a more serious motion, like if you're gonna watch like an anime, for example, and someone's throwing a punch. I've talked about this before. You're gonna see weird frames if you pause it during that punch being thrown. So it's really good in comical things that involve quick motion, and it's really important to use during action scenes. I mean, this is great background work here. Having the bookshelf with all the stuff hanging from it. You have the tapestries behind on the wall. Doing a really good job with what do I want to say? It's, man, there's good contrast and complementary colors here, because you have the oranges, the reds and browns with these golds, blues, purples, pinks. and it works really, those colors work very well against each other. I mean, which is why, like, Citlali's design is so appealing to me, because she has all these pastel colors, but they're a good gradient of these cool colors. They do the same thing here. The wall and floor and the gold and stuff are warm colors, but these work well against these that they've chosen. Once again, more of the stuff that we saw in the beginning, but this time it's happening in the moment. And man, let's just go through this a little bit. Yep, you see the girl too. And that's from the perspective of the little buddy that was helped. I'm pretty sure. Oh, look at that. Oh man, I didn't notice that the first time. I believe it's from the perspective of the creature in the jar. She's looking upset. Things are happening. And you see her tears, but I didn't notice that the first time. But then when it does this change of focus right here, when it gets blurred, you see the tears more clearly where they were. So, that's great. Citlali has the slight smile. That's good. That's cute. And yeah, and then this when, I mean, I already talked about how beautiful Natlin is, and how just, I mean, it looks like a painting. It is a painting. This is a painting. It's great. I want to watch the last bit here with Citlali leaving her house, and then kind of the montage of her just chilling out. Okay, so first the yawn. Sorry, the facial expressions. They in these very small animated shorts, such as the only other one I can think of at the moment is Mualani's, that has a similar style to this. I love how exaggerated they make the faces here. I feel like, man, they're simultaneously on model, but also going off model to show that expression. But it's done in such a way where it's not unbelievable. You're not looking at it and just kind of like, oh man, that looks bad. So, like this, and you just like, I don't know, her mouth is open like really wide with the yawn. It's not unbelievable, right? Like this is very believable, but it is very cartoony at the same time. I also think this is pretty cute. Let's see, they have... This is a gift. Oh, I didn't notice that because it happened so quick at first. There's a little carving of her face in it. I guess as her own signature for the thing that she made for her. I imagine she made it. And having this this comic panel of sorts showing possibly her emotions at the time while making this, like, you know, she's happy to make it, but also kind of maybe intimidated as well, because Citlali, although very helpful, is still a very intimidating figure in her own way with how stern she presents herself, or whatever word you want to use to describe it. I'm sure that whatever stories she may have heard before coming to Citlali, they've probably still stuck in her head, and then you meet her as herself, and you're probably kind of like, this is the person, right? And you don't really know what to believe anymore because you're seeing these multiple sides, or you're getting this idea, this impression of multiple sides of the character. So it's also a younger kid, so she's probably just a little nervous. Facial expression, puts it on the shelf, she smiles, walks away, grabbing her book, and then she's just having her time in a like a onesie. Sure. Again with the yawns, passing out, dropping the alcohol on herself. I mean, it's a fun time. This animated short was just a fun time. It was very simple. It set up a nice story, had some very cool imagery in it, and just showed a tidbit more of Citlali's character. And I'm honestly glad that she's getting this much focus. I don't know, it just feels good. I know that she might not be everyone's favorite, and that's fine. I'm not trying to compare her to Mavuika because those are the current banners that are out right now. But as far as Citlali's concept and her design and the personality that they chose to write for her, I think it's a nice little package. And now that she has this little animated thing, it's very cool. I would be pleasantly surprised if they did something like that for Mavuika again. I don't think that they will because they already have Sunset, but if they did, I would not complain. I'd be looking forward to it. But yeah. Anyway, that's all the time I have for this. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, let me know by liking the video, writing a comment down below, or checking out the description for additional ways of how to support me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. You watched the video this far, so just do the thing. But anyway, thank you so much for being here regardless, and until next time, shine on, you crazy diamonds. Later.